接着下面呢，请大家在播放国歌时秉持礼仪之邦、文明长沙的精神，尊重参赛国，稳定观赛，彰显中国风采，长沙风貌。
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. An all guns blazing blockbuster of a final in store at the 2015 Asia Championships. 15-time champions China take on 5-time champions the Philippines. The gold medal hangs in the balance. A very warm welcome to Changsha from me, Tim Long, alongside analyst Paul O'Kennedy. We're just moments away from a showpiece final at the 28th FIBA Asia Championship. The continent's premier international basketball competition has come up with a premier matchup to finish the show with a bang. The gold medal and a place at the 2016 Olympics on the line over the course of the next 40 minutes. The most successful nation in the history of Asian continental basketball set to take on the second most successful, China up against the Philippines. You couldn't have picked a more fitting final. Most of the day's business is sorted. Qatar have taken 7th spot, India finish 8th, Lebanon take 5th from Korea, who finish in 6th, and Iran, I beg your pardon, take the bronze against Japan. There is just one big bit of business left to take care of, and this stadium, this arena, is going to fill up very quickly indeed. The final of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship in Changsha just a few minutes away. The 15-time champions China dominated this competition for 30 years before winning only one of the last 4. 5-time champions the Philippines won 4 of their golds before the mid-70s. They're looking to end a 30-year wait for the trophy. Analyst Paul O'Kennedy alongside me, Tim Long. This is a mega power matchup of a final.
Well, that's a great description, and great to join you, Tim, for the final here. These have been the 2 best teams of the tournament, there's no doubt about it. China undefeated. The Philippines lost on the opening day to Palestine. They haven't lost since. And China have steamrolled teams. The Philippines have outlasted teams and made some big plays down the stretch to win these games. And I guess that's a crucial factor here. The Philippines, with the likes of Andre Blatch and Jason Castro, they are the best team in the competition when it comes to making big plays. But on the other end, you've got China, the most fearsome defensive unit in the competition, who are the best at stopping teams from making plays. The pressure defense, it's led by the point guards, Zhao Ji-wei and Guo Ai-lun. They force teams away from the basket. They make them operate from well outside their comfort zone, and they force them into tough shots. You know, one of the keys tonight, I'm going to say 2 of the keys. You talk about Terrence Romeo and you talk about Jason Castro, the 2 speedy point guards here for the Philippines. They have been able to slice and dice defenses all tournament long. They've been able to set up that man, Andre Blatch, and so often he's been the man who's stepped up late in the game to make some big plays. There is Castro. He's listed as Jason William. That's his father's name. His mother's name is Castro. That's the name he's taken on board. So that's how we'll refer to him tonight. We also call him the Blur because he's the quickest man in the tournament. And there's one of the quickest thinking coaches in the tournament, Tab Baldwin. There's Terrence Romeo. At the start of the tournament, we questioned how much of a help he was. Maybe he was more of a hindrance to the Philippines with some poor decision making. But as the tournament has gone, he has grown and become a major player for their team. And you talk about major players for China, Yi Jianlian. Do they get any better than him in Asian basketball? You know, he has rocked this house a number of times with some highlight reel plays. And it seems whenever they're making a run or whenever an opposition team is making a run, Go Ai Lun finds the ball inside to Yi and he slams it down. The place goes crazy and the momentum swings. How do they stop him? Is it Andre Blatch who gets the job on Yi? I'm not sure he's got the mobility for that. It might be Ranadel Diocampo and Mark Pingras off the bench. There's two quality defensive players, but they both give up about 4 or 5 inches to Yi, and he is so good hitting the mid-range jump shot. There was Guo Ai Lun. There's Gong Lu Ming, the coach, a man who has played and coached at an Olympic Games, and of course, if he leads his team to victory here, they'll qualify directly for the Rio Olympics. The loser will head to one of 3 FIBA Olympic qualifying tournaments next year. They'll get a second chance. But what a matchup. Contrasting styles, the individual brilliance of the Philippines and the team brilliance of China.
Talking of individual brilliance and naming some of those players there, these are 3 players in Blatch, Castro and Yi that are going to be in the running for the MVP award, and the fact that the Philippines have 2 of them that you would put in that frame shows that it's those 2 that are so important to this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw in the quarterfinal and the semi-final, both Castro and Blatch scored in the 20s. Absolute standouts, and Castro with his speed and Blatch with his combination of size and skill. We've seen him pull out that Euro step so often in this tournament. You have a 211 centimetre player. How do you defend that? It's not possible for a big guy. You put a little man on him, he takes him in the block or he shoots over the top. But once again, we talk about the team unit of China. Their team defense just hasn't allowed opponents to get into their offense, so they're going to be trying to stop Blatch from getting the ball in the positions he wants. We'll find out whether they can do it or not.
The best performance of the tournament so far for both of these 2 came against the defending champions. China in the semi-final yesterday took it to a whole new level. The Philippines beating Iran in the second phase. Since then, the performances haven't been quite as solid from them. It's China who are in the ascendancy here, and rightly the favourites.
Well, I'll tell you a little thing about the Philippines and their coach, Tab Baldwin. He admitted after that win over Iran that they've been preparing for them for a month. They'd identified that as a key matchup as we see Gabe Norwood coming out, the key defensive player for the Philippines. So they were ready to roll, and I'm telling you, if they prepared for Iran, they've prepared for China too. Because if you want to conquer Asia, you've got to conquer Iran, you've got to conquer China. So they're going to have a plan locked and loaded and ready to go.
And he's the man to come up with a plan, Coach Tab Baldwin. Romeo has been one of the players to really step up, but actually the personification of their form, really, a poor start. They've got a lot better, and they're not too good over the last couple of games, but the Philippines getting the job done in the quarter-final and the semi-final. Asi Taulava, the 42-year-old backup centre we saw just introduced last there, has not featured in either of those last 2 games, and that's one cause for concern for them, is the depth at centre when you take Andre Blatch out of the game.
That's right. Well, interesting to see, do they go with Mark Pingras and Ranadel Diocampo together? Those 2 giving up a lot of height to the Chinese bigs. We'll see whether Taulava can make an impact as we see the Chinese team. Here's Go Ai Lun, one of the favourites of this crowd. He sparks them with his electricity. I said last night, he is that quick that when he was young, they told him his name was Go, and he hasn't stopped since. And folks, you'll see that once the game starts. Here's Zhou Peng, very important player, and none more important than Yi Jianlian, as Li Gun gets introduced as well. There's Big Yi. He's got the ability. He blocks shots, he'll rebound, he'll hit the jumper. Last night he even stepped out and buried a 3-pointer. He can do it all. And it'll be interesting to see what Tab Baldwin and the Philippines have come up with to stop Yi.
Go get the gold is the message from the hosts. We'll be back with the final in just a few moments. First, we'll pause for the national anthem, starting with the Philippines. Host China arrive in the final as the only unbeaten team in the competition, 6-0 through the first 2 rounds, having downed Singapore, Korea, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Lebanon and Qatar. They annihilated India in the quarterfinals. Then came the challenge of the defending champions Iran yesterday in the semi-final. A superb defensive performance roused by this raucous crowd, leading to a 13-point win, 70-57. The officials today from Lebanon, Kazakhstan and from Japan. And we're just a few moments away from the final of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship. Taking you through the rosters and the starting fives, alongside me is analyst Paulo Kennedy.
We've talked about the superstars for the Philippines, Blatch and Jason Castro, but let's talk about their role players, and we start with Ranadel Diocampo. He's the power forward, but he can hit the 3 ball. He's been shooting it at 37% so far, and we saw him in the semi-final step out and guard the red-hot Hiyojima for Japan. He was the best defensive matchup. It's going to be a massive performance from him tonight because he is undersized, and next to him in the starting lineup, Don Hontiveros. He was a 6-shooter last night, 6 3-point shots. He was the 3rd offensive wheel alongside Blatch and Castro, and he shot them to victory. And it's the same deal with China. Let's have a look straight to those numbers. Number 9, Chai Xiaochuan, 204 centimeters, just 22 years of age, but he can shoot from the perimeter. He rebounds the ball, and we saw in the semi-final against Iran, he was throwing those nice dimes inside to Yi to finish. And number 12, Li Gun, 3-point shooter extraordinaire, and when he gets going, this building gets rocking. And then we look at the point guard, JLG Wei. He'll team up with Go Ai Lun, and it'll be pressure defense all night long on Jason Castro. But they haven't faced someone as quick as Castro in this tournament. And the big center for China, number 15, Zhou Qi. He doesn't play a lot of minutes, but he blocks shots, he rebounds, he runs the floor like a greyhound, and he throws down dunks that get his team pumped. So a lot of weapons there for China. They've got stars, they've got role players, but most importantly, they've got some team defense. They're going to need it against that man, Andre Blatch. We're primed for a huge showdown here. Castro, can anyone stop him for China? Yi, can anyone stop him for the Philippines? And we see the marquee matchup. I'm not sure if they'll guard each other, but Andre Blatch, 18 points and 10 boards a game. Yi, 17 points and 8 rebounds per game. And some fans would suggest this is a shootout between them for the MVP of the tournament. Jason Castro would have other ideas. He's been pretty special. And his matchup, Go Ai Lun, he could easily make the All-Star 5. So we are seeing the best of Asian basketball on the floor here tonight.
China 8-0, the only unbeaten team remaining in the competition. The Philippines, shot by Palestine in their first ever game in the competition, have responded to win their last 7 in a row. Hong Kong, Kuwait, India and Japan fell in the first 2 rounds, along with a huge win over Iran that sees them avoid China until tonight. Lebanon were next in the quarterfinals before Japan fell again in yesterday's semi-final, 81-70. These are 2 teams who've not just put together runs, but have evolved and grown immensely over the course of the tournament.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we talk about the Philippines. They had so much trouble with their bench unit earlier in the tournament. But you talk about Pingris has stepped up, Romeo has stepped up. Abueva's an important player for them tonight. He's had a strength and athletic advantage over his opponents all tournament long, but those Chinese wingmen, they're 6'7", 6'8", you know, over 200 centimeters, and they're strong units. So important that Abueva still gives that impetus on the boards tonight for the Philippines.
It's tip-off time in China for the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship final. Myself, Tim Long, alongside analyst Paulo Kennedy, set to talk you through the action in Changsha. The most successful team in tournament history takes on the second most successful. 27 previous editions of this competition. These 2 have combined for 20 gold medals. The only 2 teams to have beaten the defending champions in this year's competition. China's 8-game winning streak versus the Philippines' 7-game streak. It's a fitting final in a red-hot atmosphere. And what a fitting opening tip. Out of bounds off Zhou Qi. Philippines are going to have the first possession.
Some confusion there amongst the referees, but it will be Philippines ball. Almost a false start, but soon we're going to get the ball in the hands of Jason Castro. Let's see what he can do against Zhao Ji Wei.
De Campo to Castro. Gabe Norwood. Here's Hontiveros, hit 6 from downtown in the semi-final yesterday.
Yi guarding Blatch.
Blatch calling for the ball, receiving it now. Looking to get inside, behind the back, steps back for the 3. Blatch off the mark. What a way that would have been to start.
Well, what a matchup with those two. And how about the skills of Andre Blatch? He left Yi reeling backwards, but he couldn't hit the 3-point shot.
Zhao Shi Wei. Ding, back to Zhao Shi Wei. Here's Cho Chi. Yi calling for it inside. Cho Chi off the mark with the long 2, and Hontiveros grabs the ball. No score yet in the final. Here goes Castro looking to get in and hang it over the top of Cho Chi. How about that elevation?
And all tournament long, guards have wandered into the Chinese paint and been swatted away mercilessly. But what about the class of Castro just floating it over the top?
Came down with snow on it. From the near side, he fakes the 3, drives inside, Ding back out to the perimeter. They'll move it around for the 3. China still not on the board as Cho Peng misses from the outside. Blatch looking to battle against Yi, and the contact.
And 2 wins already for the Philippines. Castro able to get in and score over the big men, and Blatch drawing a foul on Yi.
Non-shooting foul, so Hontiveros to inbound to Blatch again. Up against Yi Jianlian. Norwood taking over, guarded by Cho Peng. Hontiveros from the outside picks up right where he left off in the semi-final.
And the Philippines couldn't have scripted this start much better. Hontiveros, he hit 6 last night in the semis. He opens up with a trifecta here.
Zhao Shi Wei receives it back on the perimeter. Ding's going to put it up this time and gets the first points on the board for the hosts.
And he was so important for China last night. He was like the X factor that put them over the hump, and great start for him as well.
Norwood, Cho Peng knocked to the floor. Norwood takes on a shot, able to rattle it around and get it to drop.
Well, if they could have scripted it any better, it would have been Gabe Norwood getting a jump shot early. Sometimes he's a reluctant shooter, but that one looked nice.
Zhao Shi Wei into Yi. Back to the perimeter, they move it around for the 3-pointer for Cho Peng again! Back-to-back 3s for China.
And that spells trouble for the Philippines. They're going to want to pack the paint, but if the wings for China hit the 3 points, that's hard to do.
1-point game. Castro pulling up for a 3, answers back. He has just been superb at these championships.
We said it was an all-guns-blazing matchup. It's been an all-guns-blazing start from the Philippines.
And it goes towards Cho Chi, looking to drive against Blatch, and gets the foul.
You see Blatch guarding Zhao Chi, and he looks like a long, skinny fella, but he is mobile. He draws the foul there. He's very hard to stop from the high post because he can hit that jump shot from 15 feet.
Just 19 years of age, the number 15 for China. A huge talent. Here he is now. Hands it off to Zhao Shi Wei, and then Cho Peng from the outside.
Oh!
Put back in with authority. Hear ye, hear ye. Hear this crowd roar.
Wow, what a play. And as I said in the preview, whenever they need a basket, Yi seems to come up with a big one like that.
Castro finding Blatch, who answers back with one of his own.
And we talked about the Chinese defense forcing opponents away from the basket. So far, they can't keep Castro out of the paint. Still a 2-3 zone from the Philippines, despite the pair of triples from China.
Zhao Shi Wei onto the corner, Ding for 3. They keep firing from the outside. And the foul on De Campo as the rebound is secured by Yi.
They caught a hold on the rebounding contest. Clash of bodies there. We see the Philippines, they're willing to give up some of those 3-point shots. They don't want to give up anything in the paint early.
Four-point Philippines lead as Zhao Shi Wei takes a seat, and it goes towards Yi.
Go Ai Lun into the ball game.
Here he is now, Guo. towards the foul line. Stops and puts it in off the window.
Well, that's such a tough play. They leave him open. He's only shooting around 25% from three-point range, so he probes and hits a tough floater.
Campo out to Norwood, who's taking on the 3 now, and 5 early points for the number 5.
Well, there's a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow from Norwood. Like I said, he's a reluctant shooter, but when his three-point shot gets going, all of a sudden there's 5 offensive options on the floor for the Philippines.
What a start we've had to this final, knocked away. Now the Philippines can come in transition. Blacks joining, moving it on towards Castro, and fouled by Cho Peng.
And a professional foul there from Joe Peng. Rather than allowing the easy layup, Tab Baldwin staring at the referee. He thought that should have been intentional. We see a poke in the eye there for Ding on the drive. And he's still sitting down under the basket. It didn't look like there was anything in it, just an inadvertent finger as he drove through. But that doesn't make it hurt any less. He's actually struggling to see down there at the moment.
That would be a huge blow for China. A very talented young man, just 22 years of age. At 10 points, 5 boards, a block yesterday. Li Gen is into the game. Ding Yan Yu Hang is going to sit on the bench. Castro. See if he can get away from Guo. Spinning into the lane, over to the corner. Blatch looking to drive in. There, Campo for 3. Short, and the rebound grabbed by Yi.
Another good offensive set from the Philippines, but for the first time in the game, the wide open jumper doesn't drop.
Cho Peng onto Yi. Up against Blatch now, gets away from him, gets to the glass, can't finish. Cho Chi trying to put it back in, grabs it 2-3 times and gets hit by Dare Campo and will go to the line. You have to like the hustle from the 19-year-old.
You've got to love it, and they call it the Great Wall of China. I mean, Andre Blatch is one of the biggest men in the tournament, but even he's giving up height to both Zhou Qi and Yi Jianlian. And we saw it there, the two of them taking it turns to go at the offensive glass.
The first foul shot good for Zhou Qi. 9.1 points, 5 boards, 2.1 blocks a game in just 16.5 minutes a game at this Asia Championship. He's shooting 60% from the field, although just 50% on that trip to the foul line.
You keep in mind, China kept Iran to just 57 points in 40 minutes last night. Philippines have 15 points in 5
Blacks
minutes.
rejected by Cho Chi, who puts up the Great Wall of China. Foul on Castro.
He gets a warning for a technical foul. He reacted there. And have a look at this block. 2 big arms up there, and it was Yi this time who swatted away. Take your pick on that one.
It really was the Great Wall. Both of them rising to the rim.
And Andre Blatch has not seen anything like that in this tournament so far.
Across the midway point of the first quarter, the Philippines have the edge. Here's Cho Chi, gets the contact and will go back to the line. Foul on Hontiveiros.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Tab Baldwin take a timeout here for the Philippines. Plan A worked beautifully, but now China getting into a little bit of rhythm, starting to draw fouls and starting to make their presence felt inside the paint.
Cho Chi had 3 humongous blocks in the semi-final, as well as 6 points and 4 boards. How good can this teenager be? He's 19 years of age and already one of the stars of the show.
Well, he's got all the elements at this stage. He can shoot, he can block shots, rebound, he can put the ball on the floor, and he can slide his feet and defend as well. He's just got to get bigger and stronger.
Castro throwing it up, really difficult shot. Cho Chi grabs the board. Out to Li Gen now for 3. Closed down by Hontiveiros. It doesn't matter. China take the lead.
And early in the quarter, the Philippines were getting out in transition, getting into their offense early.
And here they come in transition now. All the way down court for the big slam is Cho Chi. Team Dragon breathing fire in this red-hot arena.
And the steal from Go Ai Lun, and he flexed his muscles at Jason Castro. That time he had the dish to Lee Gun. And when he's knocking down threes, this place is rocking. And at the moment, it's 18-15 to China.
China rocking the house right now, leading 18-15, 6 minutes into the final. Having trailed by 5 to the Philippines, who made a fast start, led by the 5 points of Castro and Norwood, but China have come back strong and led by the 5 points and 5 rebounds of the 19-year-old Cho Chi. What a start he's made, and now they have momentum on their side. Looking to meander his way through. And there's a foul on Lee Gen.
And Castro has to continue to be aggressive. We saw on the last play when he danced around at half court, Guo was up in his grill, got the steal. That time he blew by him and drew the foul. And I wonder how long it will be until we see both Romeo and Castro in the game together.
Here's Blatch. Just 2 points so far. Up against Yi. Blatch going to pull up for the long two. It's long from him. A rebound grabbed by Cho Peng. Here's Guo. Cho Chi. They'll slow it down here with Cho Peng. Yi looking to set the screen. Cho Peng moves it inside towards the big man, who's trying to roll away from toss and finish.
The Philippines have got no answers defensively at the moment. They've got to keep scoring.
Blatch trying to provide an answer, but Cho Chi comes across and cuts off his path to the hoop.
A foul called there on Cho Peng, diving on the basketball, but Toss got there before him. Have a look at that swat from Cho Chi. He must lead this tournament in blocks per minute. He gets his fair share in every game.
I think that earlier one had Yi not got it, he would have got it. That was certainly his.
I'd like to see them take Blatch down low. He's got a weight advantage on Yi. At the moment, he's dancing around and shooting jump shots. See if they can get a high percentage one close to the basket.
Castro finds Toss out to Blatch. He's going to shoot the three this time. Looked off the mark all the way. The Philippines almost overawed at the moment. Whoa.
A 10-0 run for China.
Cho Peng. Whoa, towards the foul line. And called for a travel. The Philippines need to take advantage of that now.
It's like the Philippines are happy to allow the guards penetrate through the middle as long as they don't open up the passing lane to the big guys. Pingris into the game as well. He had a huge cameo in the second half against Japan, but he's got his work cut out. He's giving up probably 10, 12 centimeters to Yi.
A waiver and to Norwood.
Foul on Toss.
The Philippines turn it right back over.
A good call there from the official. The initial screen was good, but he kept riding Yi to try and keep him away from the shooter.
Guo Ai Lun gets it back from Lee Gen. Guo taking his time. Cho Peng, Yi going to put it up from mid-range, off the mark. Offensive ball for Cho Chi. Boy, he's got some fight as well.
So does that man Abueva, but he picks up the foul. And we've talked all tournament as we see the big offensive rebound, and Abueva was not going to allow a three-point play there, and that was bordering on unsportsmanlike too. We've talked all tournament about the wingmen for the Philippines being long and athletic, but these Chinese wingmen, they're longer, they're stronger, and they're just as athletic, and the Philippines not being able to control the boards like they have in other games.
Cho Chi back at the line again. This is his first. Makes him 3 of 5 from the strike now. How about that start? 6 points and 6 rebounds, the block as well.
Best weapon for the Philippines offensively this tournament has been Castro and Blatch in the ball screen. Blatch isn't on, so Castro goes himself.
Can't hit high off the glass, and guess who grabs the rebound? Final 2 minutes of the first quarter. Whoa. Philippines missing their last 7 shots from the field. And the foul called on Pingris, as Cho Chi was looking to make a move.
Well, the Philippines, they've come into this game gambling on some passive defense as we see the smart play from the 19-year-old. But at the moment, it's not working. China are picking them apart. I think they need to go to plan B, and that's aggressive, up and in defense. They need to create some easy scores, because when you're trying to score over the top of Yi and Zhou Qi in the half court, it's mission impossible at times.
Castro a bit riled up as he has to take a seat. Romeo comes into the ball game. Cho Chi, we've talked so much about his skill set, we've seen his fight, and there we saw his intelligence. He's got a bit of everything.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine he's got all that in one package at 19 years of age, and I mean, the world is his if he's prepared to put in the work and keep developing his body and developing his skills and developing his free throw shooting.
It's his 3rd miss. He's taken all 7 of China's foul shots in the quarter. Hit 4 of them. Does get the second, so 7 points, 7 boards in the first 8 minutes.
That's now a 12-0 run. And you look at the lineup the Philippines has, they've got Pingris and Toss in the front court, but those 2 guys are shorter than Jai Xiao-Chun, who's the small forward for the Philippines, so they got their work cut out on the boards.
Cho Chi comes out of the ball game. Here's Abueva. Trying to get away from Li Gan, trying to force it in off the glass. The Beast just trying to bully his way through and give the Philippines something.
And when you're up against a bully, which this Chinese team is in the paint, you've got to go back at them just as strong. And Abueva did it that time, drew the foul on Wang.
Let's see if the Philippines can end their drought here in the first. From the foul line, Abueva does. It stops the 12-0 China run.
It was 1:47 until quarter time, and we saw in the bronze medal game between Iran and China, momentum can swing so many times, and it's important that the Philippines lock down defensively here and then put some points on the board. And as I say that, they're into man-on-man defense.
Yi. When it goes from Wong, this is Li Gan against Norwood. Romeo coming out quickly to close down Guo. Yi setting the screen. He's going to shoot the long 2. It's short, there's contact underneath. A foul on Abueva.
He can't believe it. His mouth wide open, but it's going to be 2 shots. Tab Baldwin can't believe it either. But there's such a height mismatch underneath the basket that they have to be so physical on the boards. And that puts pressure on the referees.
Abueva and De Ocampo both picking up 2 fouls in the first quarter for the Philippines. Cho Peng on 2 for China. The first foul shot missed by Wong. Able to get the second. For all of the momentum, for all that China are doing right, it's only a 6-point ball game. Romeo behind the back. Abueva. Pingris setting the screen. Abueva trying to get his way to the board again. Picked up by Pingris. Abueva left under the hoop. Trying to force it in. Trying to come away with it. There's just no joy for the Philippines right now. big-time swat from Pingris. It's a real wrestling match of a final right now.
And a foul called there in the open court. What a break for the Philippines. China in the bonus, and they get 2 free throws to get this back to 4. And we see the ball handling skills of Romeo. Could have been a hint of a cradle on that spin move, but he is so exciting. And as I said earlier, I think they need to go with Romeo and Castro as often as they can, because their speed is what could trouble China and open up some 3-point shooters, because we saw Castro hit a 3, we saw Hontiveros hit a 3, but have they had an open look since?
So it's Romeo at the foul line. 10 points in the quarter-final, and then only 3 points in the semi-final. His level has dropped slightly over the last 2 games. He was 4 of 18 from the field in that quarter-final, only 1 of 6 from downtown. He was 1 of 5 from the field yesterday in the semi-final. And missed from the foul line, and it's a 5-point ball game. Guo, final minute of the first. Guo trying to find a way through.
Good defense from Toss. Here's a transition chance for the Philippines.
Romeo lightning fast in transition. Forced to turn back, goes onto the left hand, looks to drive. Aggressive move towards the backboard, and he gets hit.
Now that's an audacious drive, straight at the 217-centimetre Wong. He draws the foul, but they've got to continue to do that. You see he got stepped on there by the big man. That would have hurt. But the Philippines look so good early with Castro getting into the lane. Their little men are the key to this, because they don't have the shot makers in the other positions. They've got finishers in those spots.
It's a war right now, that's for sure. Romeo misses his first from the foul line, so just 1 of 3 now. The second one will drop to make it a 4-point game.
And JC Intel into the ball game, takes out Abueva, who's sitting on 2 fouls. 2 possessions left in this quarter, really important for both teams.
JC Intel, who didn't play at all in the semis or the quarters. Yi, moved around by Wong. Chai, in towards Yi, it was over the top of him though.
Good deflection there from Intel. Long arms, and it's so important that whenever the bench players are in for the Philippines, they bring that defensive intensity, because that's their strength.
16.9 remaining in the first quarter. Yi. Chai moving it on towards Wong. Wong looking to back in and go to work here. Double team comes across, and Gamwelas perhaps doing just about enough. Romeo, can he get a shot away here? Defense got a piece of it, and no score for the Philippines at the end of what has been an enthralling first quarter. They're only down by 4. China have made a number of highlight reel plays, went on a 12-0 run, but at the end of 1, it's China 23, the Philippines 19.
Wow, let's take a deep breath. That was fast and furious action. We see China 4 of 13 from 2-point range, and that's what the Philippines wanted going into their zone from the opening tip. And we see 5 offensive rebounds, though. That's the concern. When the ball's above rim height, it's quite simple. The Chinese big men can get to it first. Andre Blatch, he needs to step up in that area. Just 1 rebound in 7 minutes in that quarter. He needs a double-double at least if the Philippines are going to win this game.
Well, Andre Blatch just 1 of 6 from the field in the first quarter, and you saw almost the intention from the start was for him and Castro to get going early and score big. Castro got 5 points, all of them early on though. Hontiveros hit a 3, but again that was early on. And Blatch not really firing, but yet here we are, and it's only a 4-point game.
Well, it's all going well for the Philippines early. Everything they touched turned to gold. But soon enough, China joined in the party, and that man had his work cut out. And there was Blatch inside. That was his only basket for the first quarter. And there's the big block inside from Yi. Now Castro, he was hot early. Guo came on and wore him down. And Castro doesn't play massive minutes for someone who's a superstar. They need him to play a few extra tonight because he's the game breaker, and so's that man, Zhou Qi, for China.
How about his performance in the first 7 points? 7 rebounds in the final for the 19-year-old. They've got 4 points from Yi, and then a heap of players on 3. The start of the second quarter here in Changsha of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship Final. China 23, Philippines 19. Chao Wei across to the far side. They move it in now towards Wong. Ganwelas all over him, and a foul.
And we see Ganwelas and Intel into the game. They haven't been playing a lot of minutes in the final few games, but Ted Baldwin's got them in there to use fouls. Don't let any easy baskets inside. Make them earn it from the free throw line.
Wong played 10 minutes yesterday. Made his only shot in the game in the semi-final. Only 21 years of age himself. Chochi going for the ball, Blatch able to grab it, only his second rebound of the game. Romeo. Let's see what Terence Romeo can come up with here. When it goes from JC Intel to Ganwelas, Blatch in the corner, closed down quickly by Wong. Final seconds of the shot clock, he's going to shoot again, the 3 off the mark. Blatch just 1 of 7 now from the field.
And he could have got the younger player on his back there, but he was happy to float out to the perimeter and take a jump shot. He's got to get down and dirty.
Try. How about that? The ball sticks. And it might just be one of those finals where we see everything.
Jai was red hot early on against Iran in the semi-final. He hit 2 big 3-pointers. And that one was just a little off the mark.
You just wish that was a rumour gun. Romeo pulling up from mid-range and getting it to go. Big basket for him, big basket for the Philippines.
That is so tough. He was going left, falling to his left-hand side, but shooting it with the right hand, and he still had the touch to make it drop.
Only a 3-point game. Cho-Chi puts the ball on the floor, away from Blatch, and then gets hit by Pingris.
That's a playoff foul or a gold medal foul there from Pingris. But again, Andre Blatch, they just need him to be better. He can't be jumping at shot fakes from Joe Chi. He's got to get down low, defend, keep his body between his man and the basket like he did so well against Ehedadi for Iran.
These are going to be foul shots number 9 and 10 for Cho-Chi. He hits the first one. Closing in on a double-double in the first half. This is the second. He seems to be splitting the 2, but trying to have it back. Chao Wei. Wong looking to set the screen. Chao Wei goes inside, back to Lee again. Final second of the shot clock. They don't get it away in time. It's a violation.
That's one of the best defensive sets so far from the Philippines. It's a 4-point game. But if you look at the stat sheet, China 6 offensive rebounds to 1 and 14 free throws to 6. So the Philippines doing a good job hanging tough, but somehow they've got to clean the defensive glass. Diocampo and Blatch, they've got to step up in that area. And so do the likes of Norwood and Hontiveros, and we haven't seen a lot of those two in the game so far.
Terence Romeo. Looking to attack, looking to spin to the foul line, showing all the moves. No look past to Campo. He's going to back in and go to work against Wong. Tough hook shot won't go.
It was a clever play from Wong. He stepped up underneath him, made that body contact and threw him off his shot. Oh, what a play from Diocampo.
Great hustle play to save it on the baseline. And then Blatch gets fouled by Chai.
That's the first team foul on China, 2 minutes in. It's so important for the Philippines. They draw some fouls. It's hard enough scoring against China, but if you can get some cheap fouls in the bonus and get some free throws, it just relieves the pressure of this defense and this crowd.
Castro, 17.8 points per game in this tournament. Throws it towards backcourt. It will be a violation for the Philippines. Jason Castro just not finding his flow so far in the final.
Castro saying that ball was tipped. It certainly looked like it. There were some long arms in the way, but it's Chinese ball from the side.
Chao Shi Wei to Guo. Chou Chi calling for the ball. Finds him now on the foul line across to the far side. Chao Shi Wei back out to Chou Chi. He's going to shoot the long two. Short. Yi inevitably grabs the rebound. And Chou Chi trying to force it home. Ganuelas picks up another foul.
Excellent foul from Ganuelas. He has some words for Chou Chi, who walks away with a big smile on his face. But Ganuelas giving some good minutes. There's a lot of ball on that. I think he said to Chou Chi, you might get 2 free throws, but you just got swatted.
The athleticism of Ganuelas is plain to see. We saw that huge alley-oop dunk he had earlier in the tournament. One of the plays of the competition so far. Using the same athleticism on the defensive end, but sending Chou Chi back to the line again, where he's now 7 of 11.
Well, Intel and Ganuelas came into the ball game. They held that 4-point deficit while they were in there, and now Hontiveros and Norwood back into the game. I think the Philippines need to run a play here for Hontiveros, see if they can get him a wide open shot.
Norwood. There, Campo. Able to get away, called for a travel though.
Chao Shi Wei, he hooked arms there with Diacampo. You see both Diacampo and Baldwin signaling it, but he got away with it and forced the travel. And China really pushing the limits with the physicality of their defense.
It's such a fascinating final right now. Only a 6-point game. Yi, Chao Shi Wei for the 3. Rebound grabbed by Diacampo, and here comes Castro. Back to Diacampo to shoot the 3. He falls to the floor as he takes on the shot, doesn't make it. Guo. He's swinging around to Chao Shi Wei from the corner. He got it.
That's out to a 9-point lead, but the Filipino defense, for the most part, is doing their job. They just got to put some points on the board. 21 points in 14 minutes.
Castro spinning, finding a pass to Campo, is hit by Chai.
And Castro creating open shots on 2 of the last 3 possessions. And how about this spin move? Diacampo, he's 77% from the free throw line in the tournament, so a good man to have there for the Philippines.
Chao Shi Wei's triple from the corner, they can get a 9-point Chinese lead. Diacampo trying to eat into it from the foul line. He's made an important contribution to these championships, 8.4 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 2 important foul shots.
Zone defense again here from the Philippines, and Yi goes down low. He wants the ball in the low block against Blatch, his former Washington Wizard teammate.
Comes to the corner to Ding, who's back in. Diacampo makes another important contribution. Castro going through the gears, over towards Hontiveros, who had to save it. Diacampo, Castro again. They just can't get Blatch in the ball game right now. Castro's going to try and take it on himself here, hangs it high. Blatch going for the offensive ball, grabs it, looking to turn, nice footwork, and he puts it in. Maybe now he'll get going.
And that's exactly what they need from Andre Blatch. They can't get the ball movement against this intense defense to get it to him in preferred position, so he's got to go and get it off the offensive glass.
And his second field goal, nearly 15 minutes in. Ding, Chou Chi. And Diacampo hit, the basket won't count. Diacampo, I think, caught by an elbow, but it's almost inevitable with the size difference.
Second foul on Hontiveros there.
Team foul number 4.
Chai Xiao Chuan. Zhou Qi setting the screen now as Guo moves inside out to Ding in the corner. Ontiveros has gone down her and then grabbed the foot of Zhou Qi as he came across him.
And Ontiveros knocked over there. Didn't get the foul call. We'll see it just afterwards there, but I think he got a knock to the knee. And then Zhou Qi just rubbed salt into the wounds by jumping right over the top of him with a knee to the head.
It's a hotly contested final, no doubt about it. Two teams battling for the gold medal and only separated by 5 points.
There's been a lot going against the Philippines so far, but they've hung tough. They're still within 5 points. They've just got to keep making stops.
Whoa, knocks it down from the outside, and the lead back to 8.
Now he's shooting 25% from long range, so when he's connecting, it's a good night for China.
Castro to Der Campo. Over the top of Zhou Qi, no good. They could make it a double-digit lead here for the first time in the game. Foul on Castro.
Castro guessed the right way, but Guo is so quick that he couldn't get there in time. We see the meeting of the blurs there at mid-court. I think that last possession, though, and too often we see a possession for the Philippines where Andre Blatch doesn't touch the ball. I'd love to see him with the ball in the mid-post, some cutting action away from the ball. Use his passing skills to try and shake the Chinese defense.
Guo at the line misses the first, so it's going to remain a single-digit game just across the midway point of the second quarter. And they get a 9-point China lead. They've missed 7 from the free throw line now. Norwood.
And this is where Blatch should have the ball.
Romeo cutting to the hoop is fouled by Guo.
But I like that little bit of offense. I'd love to see that Andre Blatch, but a nice pass from Der Campo. And what about the quick cut from Romeo?
Now Team China number 6, blocking foul.
4.5 to play in the first half. Romeo at the line. Both teams having struggles. China 11 of 18, the Philippines 6 of 9. Romeo gets the second one.
There's 4:29 till half-time. Just so important the Philippines hang tough here. There's so much atmosphere here, but if it's close down the stretch, that atmosphere can become a negative for China if the Philippines are within striking distance.
Guo. We saw them on that 12-0 run in the first quarter. How this place exploded, and they're lifting it again here. Cho Peng makes it a double-digit lead.
Well, that's exactly the shot the Philippines want China taking, but Zhou Peng is good enough to hit the pull-up over a hand.
Blatch calling for it now, up against Yi. Looking to make a move towards the baseline. Out to Der Campo, shoots the guarded three, can't hit. Romeo trying to grab it, and Zhou Qi will come away with it. Blatch just turned into a potential double team. Knocked away from Guo. Able to recover. Zhou Qi is going to shoot the mid-ranger. He's going to knock down the mid-ranger. And the 15-time champions are gunning for gold. Zhou Qi makes it a 12-point lead and forces the Philippines to call timeout.
Well, there have been 12 men in blue singlets standing up against the damn wall, holding it back, but its cracks are just starting to appear. Zhou Qi hits the jump shot. Zhou Peng with the tough pull-up. When they're making shots like that, you know, the Philippines have to pick their poison, and at the moment, they're suffocating on it.
Still the leading scorer in the game for the Philippines. Jason Castro with 5, along with Norwood and Romeo. They've only got 4 points out of Andre Blatch, who's 2 of 8 from the field. 3 boards for him as well. China's lead is a lot more impressive right now. Cho Chi, 12 points and 9 rebounds within touching distance of a first half double-double. In the final, they've got 6 from Guo and 5 from Cho Peng. We said at the start of the game that for the Philippines to have a chance, they would need superstar performances from the big two. They haven't had them just yet.
They haven't. There we see Hamad Ehadadeh. And early in that game, the bronze medal game, Iran led it by 15. Their coach, Dirk Baumann, then substituted his entire starting 5 out and let Japan back into the game. I don't think Gong Liming's going to make a mistake like that. So the Philippines have to start hitting some tough shots.
There, Campo. Let's see if he can hit this one. He can, right off the timeout. Big 3 for the Philippines.
And a big 3 minutes for the Philippines here. Can they stay within single figures by halftime?
Yi back out to the perimeter. Long 2 is short from Cho Peng. Out of bounds, Philippines ball.
And the defensive strategy is sound from the Philippines. Double teaming inside, making players shoot shots over a hand. So far, though, they've given away too many offensive rebounds. That's the flaw in any defensive plan.
Romeo behind the back. Gets the defense in the air. Can't finish.
And the Philippines, they're surrendering the ball. They had no one on the offensive glass. They need to start securing a couple of extra possessions themselves.
Cho Chi to Chai. He takes on the 3. Can't hit. Yi able to tip it to Cho Chi. Here's Guo. And a foul on toss.
And that's free throws.
Chance to make it a double-digit lead again. 2.5 to play in the first half of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship final. First one good for Guo Ai-lun. Averaging nearly 10 points a game at this tournament, 4.2 assists. A steal and a half a game as well. And he now has 8 points in the first half of the final. Abueva spinning into the lane. Can't get it to go initially, then almost touched it back in. China will come in transition here. Norwood making a vital defensive intervention.
As he so often does, and the Philippines using Norwood as the point guard, taking away the defensive pressure of the likes of Guo and Zhao, who often spark the fast break points for China.
China threatening to get away before half-time. The Philippines just trying to cling on to them. Yi. Turns around and a little too long on the shot. Good defense that time. Romeo. Around the screen of Del Campo, back out to Abueva, steps inside. Del Campo to shoot the 3. Offensive board for Abueva and puts it in. Big play from him.
Yeah, he's been important in this first half. Only 4 points, but rebounds, defense, and some important fouls underneath the basket. It sounds silly, but China have been struggling from the free throw line, so preventing those easy baskets is important.
Cho Chi. Contact involving Abueva and Yi. It's going to be number 3 on Abueva.
And how that was pinged on one player or the other, I'm not sure, but Yi gets 2 free throws as the result.
Minute and a half remaining in the first half. China leading by 9. Yi takes it to double figures again. 5 points for him in the game. His first trip to the foul line. 2 of 7 from the field, as well as those 8 rebounds. This is the second foul shot.
Tech foul on Cho Peng. He had a few words to say there to Abueva. And that's a nice little break for the Philippines, but they've got to make this free throw.
And a break and a Vital time as well, when momentum heading into the interval could be key.
Team foul number 4.
We see just stood over the top of Abueva and said a few words. And the referee's mindful of this getting out of hand a little bit. Quick on the whistle.
De Campo at the foul line. And misses the free throw. Now we see the incident again involving Cho Peng. Hit with the technical foul.
Not a lot in it, but enough for a technical.
Romeo. Danuelas to Norwood. Under the hoop, finds Romeo in the corner. Steps inside for the 2. Romeo off the mark. He grabs the rebound. Here they come in transition with Chai to flip it up and in.
Well, some nice execution on the last play by the Philippines, but Romeo hesitated. And with the long arms of these Chinese defense, you've only got a split second to get that shot off or you're covered.
The Philippines really struggling from the field here in the first half. Norwood takes on a shot. Norwood coming up with a big performance in the first half, has 7.
And he's one Filipino player with the athleticism and long arms to shoot over the top. He's got to be more aggressive here. We've said it all tournament, but tonight is the night.
Again to Guo for 3. Bang! Chinese charge continues in Changsha.
And more push and shove under the basket. This time it was Yi and Diacampo. And this is at boiling point, this game. And what else would you expect from a gold medal match?
Talking of Gabe Norwood, averaging 3 points per game in this tournament, 7 in the first half here. It's perhaps one of the criticisms of this Philippines team that he can't shoot the ball, or he doesn't shoot the ball, and that's one thing that's missing, because he's certainly got the defensive side of the game down. Well, he's been able to shoot the ball in the first half when others perhaps haven't stepped up, but Guo certainly stepping up for China, and they lead the Philippines by 13.
Well, when that man is sticking three-point shots, what defensive plan can you put in place against China? They've got the bigs inside, they've got the wings who can shoot, and if their point guard who sets the table is hitting the three-pointer as well, they've got all the bases covered. And we see Zhou Qi at 12, Go Ai Lun at 11 points, and we haven't mentioned it yet tonight. 6 players in this Chinese team, 22 years and under. What a future they have, because they're playing like veterans already. And there's a young veteran in Yi, and he has had a different attitude about himself in this tournament to previous tournaments. He's playing with his chest out, and his young teammates are following his lead. And we see some of the physical play so far. Neither team has taken a back step. Zhou Qi, he nearly hit his head on the ring in that one, but this game, it started fast and furious. Right now it's physical. And what a tough job for the 3 officials in this game. They've got to be right on top of their game.
Castro and Blatch combining for just 9 points so far in the first 20 minutes of this ball game. They combined for 49 points a couple of nights ago.
They've only combined for 24 minutes as well, so Tap Bulba keeping them in reserve.
Romeo, last shot of the half for the Philippines is good. And that makes it an 11-point game as Toss knocks one down right at the end of the second quarter and just gives them something heading into the halftime interval. And China have exploded away in the second quarter, behind 12 points from Zhou Qi and 11 from Guo Ai Lun. And they lead at the half 46-35.
Well, an important final play there from Terence Romeo. He had the composure, he got into the lane, and perhaps earlier in the game he'd been rushing those shots against the big guys. This time he just took his time, found Toss, and what a big shot from Toss as well. Not usually a scorer, he took his time and nailed it. And it keeps them within 11. See 8 offensive rebounds there for China, and a better result. They had 5 at quarter time, so the Philippines closing that down a little, and the turnover number for the Philippines is very pleasing, just 4. 6 for China, but they play such aggressive basketball that they are going to be high in that number. You see Joe Chi there with 12 points already at halftime. He's got 10 boards as well. What a performance from him in 16 minutes of play. That's all he averages usually, but Coach Gong Lu Ming is riding his hot form, and he's exploiting the smaller Philippines front line.
The Philippines have taken 3 more shots in the ball game so far, but they're only shooting 35% from the field. Andre Blatch, 2 of 8. Castro, 2 of 5, but all of his points coming early on. Abueva's 1 of 5 there. Campo there, 1 of 7 from the field. Plenty of them struggling, and they're just having to try and battle to stay in the final right now. Trailing by 11. Blatch rejected by the Great Wall that time. Hasn't had much joy at all. Guo and Castro, what a matchup that is. And it's Guo who's getting the better of the Filipino star at the moment. 11 points in the first half. Does coach Tab Baldwin have the answers in the second? Needs to get this man involved more. Just 1 of 2 field goals for Andre Blatch in the first half.
You know, I think Andre Blatch has to get himself involved more. You know, there's no more games left in this tournament, whether he's in shape, out of shape. He's just got to throw caution to the wind in this second half. They're 11 points down, as we see the hustle there. Ontiveros copping 1 as well. There's the shot from Joe Pang, but getting back to Andre Blatch, he needs to score probably 10 to 15 points in the second half, because at the moment China's got all the answers defensively. He and Castro are the only 2 men who can blow them apart, and if this man Go Ailun keeps hitting those shots, China are going to blow this one apart.
3-pointer from Guo, making it a double-digit lead at the half for China. Everything going to plan for the hosts so far. China 46, the Philippines 35. Join us for the second half in around 6 minutes' time.
现场欢迎您在观看比赛的同时扫描您座位后面的 FIBA 国际篮联官方微博微信二维码，关注 FIBA 国际篮联官方微博微信，更有机会领取由比特体育为您提供的精美奖品。
Welcome back to Changsha, where it was a fine Filipino start as they scored the first 5 points of the game. Led for nearly 5 minutes, but China went on a 12-0 run and turned the tide in their favour. Ended up leading by as many as 13. They lead at the start of the second half by 11, led by the 12 points of Cho Chi, who's also grabbed 9 rebounds, 11 points from Guo. And the Philippines now need to find a few answers. China 46, Philippines 35 at the start of the third quarter. Blatch onto the left hand. Stops mid-range, puts it in. And Andre Blatch, who only had 4 points in the whole of the first half, gets 2 right at the start of the second. Exactly the aggression they need from him, and he's got to demand the ball time and time again and make plays for himself and for his teammates. Yi up against Blatch now. Yi able to shoot over the top of him, can't get the drop. Cho Chi, another rebound, then knocked away by Norwood. Big play at the defensive end from him. Yeah, it's so important. There's 4 and 5 Philippines players on the board, just tipping the ball away from the taller Chinese players. Castro bumped by Chao Shi Wei. He struggled to guard Castro tonight. Guo Ai-Lun was all over him. It was a fantastic matchup, but Castro's been too quick for Zhao. Castro onto the left hand here, trying to show that speed again. Misses the shot though, and he's frustrated with himself. Chao Shi Wei out to the corner. Ding for 3, way over the top of the basket. Air ball from Ding. Norwood called for the double dribble, and the Philippines have had a great opportunity here to eat into this deficit and create momentum at the start of the third quarter. They've not really taken it. They have to make the most of it, and they have to execute well. Castro or Blatch have to be involved in some way on every possession. Ding. Cho Chi stops on the foul line, puts it up and puts it in. That's the hole in any zone, the high post. When you've got a guy who's 217 centimetres tall who can catch and shoot from there, gee, that's hard to stop. Castro trying to get away from Chao Shi Wei. Out to Hontiveros in the corner. Off the mark from 3. Chao Shi Wei grabs the rebound. Another one of those opportunities for the Philippines goes begging, and Castro then with a foul in transition. And that was just a missed opportunity from Hontiveros. Castro deep into the paint. He split 2 defenders with the pass, and Hontiveros missed the wide open triple. And Castro picks up foul number 3. Lose him, lose the game. Simple as that for the Philippines. But I think if you take him out of the game for long stretches on foul trouble, you're probably going to lose the game anyway. Cho Chi. Yi calling for it inside. It goes around the perimeter first, then comes into the big man who's fouled by the other big man. Yi will go to the line. We see Gabe Norwood there was fronting Yi, and the nice pass over the top. But Blatch was right up at the foul line guarding Cho Chi. I know he can hit that shot, but I think the Philippines need Blatch closer under the basket. If Cho Chi's going to hit 5 or 6 of them in a row, well, they're probably too good anyway. I think they should tempt the young man and get some demons into his head. Second foul on Andre Blatch. Another missed free throw for China. Only shooting 61% from the foul line in the game. 14 of 23 now. Well, the Philippines had the plan. Make them shoot from outside, foul them if they come inside. And it's worked pretty well. China have missed their free throws. The downfall has been their offensive rebounding. 8 O-boards in the first half for China. 12-point Chinese lead. 2 minutes into the second half of the final. Hontiveros will take on another 3 and knock it down as he falls to the floor. And China are contesting those shots so closely. How often have we seen the Philippine shooter spill to the floor after they take the shot? And that time Hontiveros makes it. Chao Shi Wei onto Cho Peng. And he goes to Cho Chi. Long 2 off the mark, grabbed by Castro. And then he's fouled. They don't want to let him free down court. You certainly don't, and that's the defensive stand I like. Say to Cho Chi, you hit that time and time again, rather than allowing Yi passes in underneath the basket for layups or fouls. De Campo, Hontiveros is bypassed. Blatch Might have been caught in the eyes, then goes looking to drive at the defence. Up against Yi and gets contact. Be interesting to see that again on the replay.
And we've got a tech foul on the bench for the Philippines. So we see the armbar out in front from Yi. But someone on the Philippines bench, it wasn't Coach Baldwin. Someone else has said some words and the referee took offence. So we'll have 2 free throws here for Andre Blatch and then 1 and possession down the other end. In fact, they're saying it's on Blatch. Well, that's interesting because when he blew that technical foul, the ref was looking straight at the bench. Perhaps something to say from Andre Blatch from behind him.
Blatch hitting his first foul shot of the game. And 1 more to come. And he can make it a 7-point game. It's been a pretty decent 2.5 minutes at the start of the half for the Philippines. And Blatch now the leading scorer for them with 8. He's got as many points in the second half already as he had in the whole of the first. The technical foul sends China to the line now.
It was almost as if the hot start from his teammates, Castro was on fire, Hontiveros hit a 3-point, and Blatch just went inside his shell a little bit. But in the time of need now, he has stepped up. Can he continue to do it against this pressure defense over a full quarter and a full half?
Joe Peng finding a way through. Finding a way through, Andre Blatch. Norwood. Out to the corner, around to Blatch on the perimeter. Looks to get inside again. Foul on Cho Peng, basket doesn't count.
That's the 4th team foul already on China, and that's something the Philippines have to do. Now the aggression comes out of the Chinese defense, and any foul allows a couple of easy free throws.
4th foul on Cho Peng as well. He takes a seat, and Chai Xiao Chuan comes into the game. Castro around the big frame of Blatch, under the hoop, out to Deo Campo for 3. The Philippines are having their chances here to really make it a game.
They certainly are. That was some outstanding playmaking and patience from Castro. He just held the ball until he could find the open man.
Chai to Chao Shi-wei. Chai again, he's going to shoot from the outside. Short from him, Castro can come in transition now. Looking to go all the way, 2! How about the rejection from Chai, who slams the door in his face?
And Zhao just did a good job getting in front of him, bumping him. We'll see him here going to the basket. Bit of contact there, just enough to put Castro off his shot.
Blatch to Castro. He's going to shoot a 3 now, Castro. Can't hit, rebound grabbed by Ding.
You said it before, so many opportunities for the Philippines here. I'm not sure how many of them they can pass up and stay in this game because China are going to get hot eventually.
Cho Chi into Yi. There, Compo doing a great job. Cho Chi. Final 5 seconds of the shot clock. Chao Shi-wei puts the ball on the floor, finds Ding in the corner. And there, Campo grabs the rebound. Blatch with a word or two for one of the referees. He puts the ball on the floor. Blatch looking to go strong to the hole. And will go to the line. What a play that would have been.
And he's a different man after half-time. Look at the look on his face. He's pumped up. He's angry. It might have been that exchange with Yi, I'm not sure. But he looks ready to take this game over. It was just as well that he got the hand on Andre Blatch's wrist there because he was about to get dunked on.
Blatch means business. Back at the line. And it's the first.
And we saw him hush the crowd in the game 2 nights ago in the quarterfinals against Lebanon. And he looks even more focused than that tonight, though.
Gets them both to go. Nothing but net. Nothing but focus. The first player for the Philippines into double figures. 6 points now in 4 minutes at the start of the second half. 10 in the game. Yi Shai. Cho-Chi posting up, stolen by Norwood, using those long arms again. And then he goes down and turns it over.
I think he bumped the elbow of Diocampo as he was losing his balance there. He looks like he's really sore. We'll see here. Pivots around. Oh, he gets hit in the face by Cho-Chi. The referee was looking right at that. He must have deemed it wasn't sufficient contact, but yeah. Interesting call, but it's going to be Chinese ball. And Gabe Norwood struggling to see at the moment. Jason Castro having some words to the referees as well.
You know, there's tough breaks and missed opportunities all the time here for the Philippines, and yet they're still within 8. But it can't go on. If it does go on, it'll be one of those finals where they're really kicking themselves at the end. Yi. Call for a travel.
That's the make-up call. Going back the other way. It's an 8-point ball game here. We're about midway through the third quarter. What a tense moment. Last night, Iran were able to get it back to 6, but they weren't able to maintain that pressure. Can the Philippines keep putting the pressure on? We've got a foul underneath. That's on go.
He picks up his second. And halfway through the third, it's so finely poised right now. Hints that the Philippines are building steam, closing down the gap. A chance to make it a 6-point game, having been as many as 13. Abueva misses the first from the foul line, though. Misses them both. With China over the foul limit and still 5 minutes to play in the third, the Philippines have that opportunity if they can hit their foul shots. Yi up against Blatch with the finger roll from Yi. And a chance at a 3-point play.
How about that move? He was too quick. The pick and pop with go. He draws the contact. What a finish. Outstanding play from Yi. How about the body control? That's a solid bump from a big man, and he still finishes from behind the backboard.
Looked like the calmest man in the arena.
Andre Blatch checks out of the game with 3 fouls, so a doubly big play there from Yi.
Can't complete the 3-point play. Toss secures the rebound. 10-point game. Right on the midway point of the third. Romeo. He's going to pull up for 3. Can't get the bounce. He gets the board. Whoa. Lee again. Make sure it's a 3. He made absolutely sure it was a 3.
And there's only so many opportunities you can waste against China because they've got a point guard like Guo who finds a shooter like Lee Gun, and it's a 13-point game.
All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, back to largest lead of the game. As Abueva looks to get that to go, gets contact from Lee again. This is where they really start kicking themselves for those missed opportunities.
Well, you felt had they done things right, it could have been a tied ball game. And then every shot for China would have been different. It would have been tighter. The atmosphere in the gym would have been different. But right now, this place is rocking and the Chinese team is rolling.
Pivotal halfway through the third. Abueva hit his first 2 foul shots. He's missed his last 3 now. Misses 4 in a row. Whoa. Back out to Cho-Chi. Yi driving inside, hands it off. Hesitation on the shot, rejection from Diocampo.
And Abueva in there as well. He is providing some real energy here in the third term.
Here's Diocampo to Romeo. Here's Abueva for 3, short. Yi so quick to grab the ball as it came back down.
And this is a young Chinese team, but in every game we've seen, when they smell blood, they go for the jugular. And you've just got that sense about them now.
Whoa. Cho Chi onto Li Gen, hit the big three a few seconds ago. He'll hit another one. Big 1-2 punch from Li Gen. There Campo. Norwood, lead has grown to 16. Toss putting it up, off the mark. Tip back into Philippines possession. Romeo, they could really do with a score. They're not going to get one.
No, and they're getting the shots they want. They're just not hitting them. And they had to play a near-perfect game to beat China here. It's going to take something special. It's got to start at the defensive end, though.
Final 3 minutes of the third. Guo back to Yi. He's going to pull up for the long two. Abueva grabbing the rebound, foul on Li Gen.
And a few more words exchanged there, this time between Li Gun and Abueva. He didn't appreciate the elbow that was raised, but you can't leave one of the best three-point shooters in the competition open. Look at the smile on his face. He knows he's halfway down the track to gold.
Shooting over 50% from three-point range at this championship. And he's 3 of 3 from downtown in the final. Abueva ends a run of 4 missed foul shots in a row.
Well, Li Gun, he hit his first 9 three-pointers of the tournament. And he quickly became a crowd favourite, and they are riding every three-pointer with him.
Offensive board off the missed foul shot this time. Hontiveiros looking for a three of his own. Yi grabbing the board. Abueva battling again and called for the foul. Number 4 on Abueva. Foul trouble mounting for the Philippines.
The Philippines are at breaking point here. Blatch and Castro on the bench. Gabe Norwood's just gone to the bench. Hontiveiros is the only starter out on the floor. I'm not sure where their points are going to come from.
Chai. Knocked away from Guo, able to recover. Li Gen. He's able to recover too. Across to Chai. Takes on the three, short. Romeo able to grab it. They need a good 2.5 minutes here. Romeo hasn't provided the spark that we know he can do yet. Abueva with the fake, driving the baseline, banks it in.
Finish.
Fantastic move, strong move when the Philippines desperately needed one.
He went straight into the body of Yi. He rode the contact. And what a beautiful soft finish. And he's been big for the Philippines here in the third quarter.
Playing on 4 fouls as well. Guo Lun, final 2 minutes of the third. Chai onto the corner to Li Gen. Guo again. He's going to shoot the three. Wide of the mark. And the Philippines again have an opportunity to make it look a little better for them at the end of the third. They need a big 100 seconds.
I'd like to see Romeo off a couple of screens here. They got one at the top. I'd love to see 2 to bring both Chinese big men out.
Toss. Turns the ball over, 3-second violation against Sunny Toss.
And that one high screen and the one big down low works well for the Philippines when they have a shooter in the game like Blatch or Diacampo. But with both Pingris and Toss out there, I think bring them both out, see what the defenders do, because if the big men for China sag off, Romeo can go to that pull-up jump shot, which he can hit from 18 feet.
Guo. Final 1.5 minutes of the third. China have looked in control for a long time. Just hints from the Philippines. Li Gen misses from the outside for the first time, but they get the offensive ball with Cho Peng. Guo. To drive in himself now, denied by Abueva. And how about that from Abueva, playing on 4 fouls?
Oh, he's been superb. And we talk about his stats, 7 points with those 4 fouls, but he's got 4 boards as well and 2 offensive rebounds. It's been a real energy burst.
Speaking of energy bursts, Castro with the ball. We could do with a bit more from him. 5 points right at the start of the ball game, nothing since. Only 1 assist in the game. Castro onto the left hand, up against Cho Peng, forced away. Final 5 seconds of the shot clock. Elevates from mid-range, way over the top of the hoop. And here come China in transition now, with Guo going through the gears, knocked away, out of bounds, still China ball.
What about the defensive possession from Zhou Peng at the other end? He switched out onto Castro, and he stayed with him for about 14 seconds of the shot clock and forced a tough shot. Quick hands there from Hontiveros.
37 seconds remain in the third. Zhou Peng moves it on to Chao Shi Wei. Screen set by Cho Chi. Looking to move inside, it goes to Guo instead. Through the legs a couple of times, looking to attack now. There's the pirouette move. Hung it high, Abueva battling for the board again. Abueva trying to grab it. Eventually, Toss does. Castro then fouled on half court by Chao Shi Wei.
He's a strong unit, Jason Castro. Zhao going in there to commit the foul. He gets a little elbow and that hurt. But Castro to the free throw line. So important that he makes these 2 free throws. 11-point ball game at three-quarter time. That's still gettable, especially with some of the big-time players in the Philippines lineup.
Jason Castro's first point since the opening minutes of the game. And short on the second foul shot. Toss grabs the rebound though, and then a foul.
And that one's on Zhou Chi. It's his second. And Toss has been serviceable today for the Philippines. He has really battled out of his weight division. He's got 5 boards, including 3 offensive rebounds. That's a massive contribution from him. And that's Zhou Peng out of the ball game.
Fouled out on 7 points, on 3 of 6 shooting.
And that's a win for the Philippines as well. Zhou Peng, not only does he score points, but defensively, we saw him before. He could switch on to Castro. He can guard big guys. He can do it all.
And Toss gets them both to go, so a 10-point game, final seconds of the third. Can they get a defensive stop? They can. Castro pulling up to try and bank it in. What a potential turning point in the momentum swing that could have been at the end of the third. Well, China lead by 10 still, but the Philippines have continued to make a game of it. Can they turn it around in the fourth? At the end of 3, it's China 60, the Philippines 50.
Well, with that shot, Jason Castro 2 of 10 from the field. Andre Blatch 3 of 9. Now those two are capable of so much more. And a 10-point ball game can switch very quickly, but it's so important the Philippines get those two involved early on. And it doesn't have to be scoring. It can be feeding the ball, drawing some defense, getting guys like Hontiveros, Diacampo, and even Norwood some shots from mid-range. But they've got to make some inroads early. And I'd like to see him be a little bit more aggressive defensively at times, perhaps later in this fourth quarter. We saw Zhou Chi, he hit that one early on. Later on the corner, the Philippines dared him to shoot it. He didn't have such good results when he was left wide open. But the Philippines had a number of wide open opportunities which they didn't make the most of. Blatch looked hungry early, but he picked up his 3rd foul and went out of the game. And once that happened, they lacked the scoring punch and they stopped getting that penetration. There is the 3rd foul. What a finish from Yi. But without Blatch in the ball game, the Chinese bigs can guard the paint. When he's in there, they've got to come out, and that gives him the opportunity to go at them and draw fouls. And that's going to be another important thing in the final quarter. Which team gets into the bonus sooner? Lee Gun, he gave them a bonus with his pair of 3-point shots. It was party time on the Chinese bench. But it's crunch time now. There's 10 minutes to play, and there's 10 minutes the difference.
Start of the final quarter of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship final. And it's the host China who have the double-digit lead, 60 to 50. Time running out for the Philippines, but still only a 10-point ball game. They need a huge quarter. Chao Shi Wei. Castro trying to intervene, very nearly came with the steal. shot clock down to 3 already. They put up the long 2 and get it to go at the end of the shot clock. Guo Ai-lun.
Well, I was about to say it was the perfect defensive possession to start with for the Philippines, but how good is Guo Ai-lun to make that spinning shot?
Castro off the mark again, so Castro 2 of 11 from the field.
He's got to keep that aggressive approach, though. It's going to come good at some point.
Ding. Chao Shi Wei. He comes to set the screen. It goes the other way. What about the move to get the fans on their feet? Ding to the hole, gets contact along the way and finds the finish.
And he just sliced through 3 defenders, some bewildered looks on the Philippines players' faces. And this is exactly the start they didn't need in this quarter.
You can do everything right on defense sometimes, but China just have so much quality, and it's showing at the start of the 4th. They lead by 15. Foul on Guo. Third on him. Sitting pretty comfortably right now. Castro. Ontiveros may have to light it up from the outside. He's short on that one.
Just a really good contest on the shot. He thought he was free. Suddenly there was a hand near the ball. And it was just enough to put him off.
Guo. Ding. And Wei last trying to guard him. Ding looking to get away. Contact came from Ontiveros.
That's his 3rd foul. And the Philippines just allowing too much penetration against this zone. It's not a man-to-man defense, but if there's a man in your area, you've got to get down and defend and slide your feet, because otherwise there's going to be open 3-point shooters all over the place. And you've seen China throughout this tournament. Once they get in the lane, they throw that lob up, and Yi and Zhou Qi will slam it down.
Ding. Chao Shi Wei, Blatch back in the ball game for the Philippines. Final 5 to shoot. Ding. Gets Norwood in the air. No foul called. And here's Norwood now coming down court, looking for the big finish.
Great defense from Zhao Ji Wei.
Now China in transition. We'll slow it down with Guo. Ding to Guo, who's going to take on the 3-pointer. Too long, Blatch grabs the rebound.
That's what the Philippines want, but they're just not making the most of it at the other end.
Ontiveros is just going to keep shooting them. Problem is he keeps missing them now. 2.5 minutes without a score for the Philippines.
28% from the field for the Philippines and 5 of 21 from long range. It's the wrong night to have a cold shooting night from the perimeter.
They've missed their last 8 in a row. Yi on the turn, in and out. And a foul underneath. On Ontiveros.
But the Philippines, they have to keep firing. They're not going to win this game walking the ball up and down the floor. They've just got to hope that the shots start dropping at some point. But defensively, I think they're just too passive. It was the strategy earlier in the game. I think they've got to throw caution to the wind, get up and in, try and force some steals and get some easy baskets.
Chao Shi Wei into Yi. Guarded by Blatch. Final seconds of the shot clock. Yi hangs in the air, misses the shot. Castro comes away with a rebound.
China are leaving the door open.
Blatch calling for it on the far side. Pingris going towards Norwood on the near side. Blatch receives it now to shoot the 3. Gets inside instead, looking to bundle his way to the board and banks it in.
What a pass from Norwood too. He recognised the open man, fired it across the court. It's back to 13. They are still close enough if they're good enough.
Chao Shi Wei, close down by Castro. Guo. Guo looking to attack now. Left hand lays it up and in.
And again, penetration against the zone. They can't allow it. They've got to keep them on the perimeter and just make them shoot shot over a hand. But when it's Guo Ai-lun, it's so much easier said than done.
Castro stopped by Guo. Guo now the leading scorer in the game with 15. Castro up against Chai now. Goes past him. Left hand onto the right, misses the layup. The Philippines need to make those. They get away with it that time and then call for a travel.
Once again, the Philippines baffled by the call, but another turnover for them. They've just made too many mistakes here today, and they've only had 8 turnovers, which isn't horrible, but when you put that on board with their missed shots and the offensive rebounds they've given up, there's just been too many lapses to stay with a team as good as China.
15 points in 6 minutes, certainly doable, but the Philippines can sense it, feel it now slipping away as Blatch knocks it away from Yi.
And so impressed with Go Ai-lun. We know about his speed in the open court, but his control in this final quarter, he's kept his team calm and he's made sure they've picked the defense apart, and every chance he's got penetrating in to create a look for a teammate.
Blatch tipping it, Romeo coming down court, Castro with him, Romeo looking to go all the way. Chose not to take the support.
Another great contest from Zhao Ji Wei. He is so good a defender in the open court, but that time Romeo good enough to finish off.
Zhao Ji Wei onto Yi. Ding, wide open for 3. Gets it to go. China closing in on the gold.
Time running out on the Philippines.
Romeo looking to take it into his own hands. Had only scored 1 field goal before those last 2.
They need to be up and in here. They need to force some steals. Try and force China to play rushed basketball. See if they can turn it over or get some defensive rebounds and run.
Guo to Cho Chi. Double-double in the game for him. Guo again around the screen of Cho Chi. Hangs a can't hit the shot, and how about the follow-through from Cho Chi? The red-hot hosts looking to fire their way back to the summit. Double-double for Cho Chi, and a huge dunk.
What a play from the youngster, and the control of Guo once again. He just calmed the offense, got a good shot, it misses, but there was Zhao Chi to jam it back in. And the other tail of that possession was a tired Andre Blatch. He was still out on the perimeter. He didn't get in and crash the boards, and he opened up the highway to the jam for Zhao Chi.
China 72, the Philippines 56, with only 4 minutes and 49 seconds to play. They are closing in on top spot on the podium and a 16th gold medal at the FIBA Asia Championships. They just have to dot the I's and cross the T's on this one and make sure the likes of Romeo for the Philippines can't go on a scoring burst. They have really struggled to score, the Philippines tonight, shooting 32% from the field. Leading scorer Andre Blatch with 12 points, the only player in double figures, and 4 of those 12 coming from the foul line. There Campo. Bypasses Norwood. Blatch bypassing the 3 to move inside. Spins back out to Romeo on the perimeter. Final 5 seconds of the shot clock now. Romeo onto the right hand, difficult shot. Blatch trying to touch it back in. Big play from him.
It was a great play out of the timeout. Andre Blatch got the open shot but decided not to fire. In the end, he gets the tip in, so back to 14. Abueva back into the game. Can he be that spark? Can he force some turnovers and make some things happen? Well, he's been called for the foul, and that'll be him for the ball game.
It's in done. Calvin Abueva fouled out with 9 points of 3 of 8 shooting, 5 rebounds. The Philippines falling.
We've got a tech foul on Go Ai-lun, who is giving a send-off to Abueva. And just, I gave him such a rap for his composure and leadership, and he picks up his 4th personal on a technical foul, and you see Ding there just trying to calm him down. Got caught up in the moment. And that's what Abueva does to opponents with his energy and his physicality. We see it there.
Shooting one.
One last contribution in the game from Kelvin Abueva. It's those little contributions that he makes to help his team out. Blatch misses the free throw though.
And the Philippines now 15 of 26 from the free throw line. Just too many misses when you're playing on somebody else's home court.
The lead is 14. 4 minutes and 7 seconds to play. Blatch throwing it towards Castro. The two superstars not in sync, and a turnover and a shake of the head from the big man.
And it's a frazzled Andre Blatch at the moment. He hasn't been able to get anything going in his matchup with Yi. And a panic pass across the court there. China are just moments away from locking this one down.
Yi to Guo. Guo quickly switching onto the right hand, fouled by Romeo.
And that's free throws to come now. It's going to be hard for the Philippines if they're giving away free throws on every foul, and that was just an undisciplined one there from Romeo.
2 shots.
Guo at the line to try and add to his game-high 15. In fact, Cho Chi had 16, I beg your pardon, so Guo now level with the 19-year-old and can become the game's leading scorer with this one. And does.
And we've got a gold medal game for the FIBA Asia Championship, and China, a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old leading the way.
Romeo trying to find a good look. There, Campo's going to have to take over and able to put it in.
Tough make inside. And that's what they've got to do. They just have to keep going at the defense, see what happens, crash the offensive glass, throw caution to the wind, try and force turnovers, try and force extra possessions wherever they can get them.
They need defensive stops sooner rather than later. Guo around Yi. Guo gets it back, then looks to drive inside, back out to Yi. Gets Norwood in the air and just elevates and puts it in. Yi into double figures. And China closing in on the gold.
He just reached out and slammed the door shut on the Philippines at 16 points the difference. What can the Philippines conjure up? Because at the moment, this man and his teammates have all the answers.
Only used 4th field goal of the game. But he's now got a double-double as he beats the chest. 11 points for the number 11, as well as 14 boards. The Philippines calling timeout with 3 minutes and 6 seconds to play. Cho Chi also a double-double, 16 points, 13 rebounds. As we take a look at the Philippines leading scorers, Blatch the only player into double figures. Abueva fouled out on 9 points. Terence Romeo, 9 points off the bench. Jason Castro limited to just 6 points. There you look at the 3 in double figures for China. 17 for Guo, 16 for Cho Chi, 11 now for Yi.
Well, look at the intensity of Guo defensively there. There's the elevation from Joe Peng. And you talk about elevation, that man's done it better than anyone in the tournament here in Changsha.
$16-point Chinese lead, final 3 minutes. Blatch. Blatch into the lane, puts it in, that's 14 points.
You just have to wonder why he hasn't been getting the ball in that position more often. You also have to wonder why he only has 4 rebounds. He just hasn't come to play here tonight.
10 of his 14 coming in the second half. He was almost anonymous in the first.
We've got an unsportsmanlike foul called here on Diocampo after the initial foul was called.
Now it's on number 7, Obi, now, full personal.
Disappointment all round for the Philippines. 4th foul on Castro. 3rd on Diocampo.
Shooting 4, 罚球4次。
Guo is right on the money again from the foul line, 18 points. Leading scorer in the game and edging China with every shot, with every second, one step closer.
He could be edging his way into the all-tournament team here as well. What an outstanding performance from him, and we see what the foul was called for. A rake across the face of Guo, and he's going to shoot the next two as well.
We talk about Jason Castro potentially being in that team. 6 points for him off 2 of 12 shooting, just 1 assist in the final. Guo, 18 points, 2 assists, a block and a steal. He certainly had a big say. Lead back to 16. A timeout call with 2 minutes and 33 seconds remaining. China leading 78-62 behind the now 19 points of Guo Ailun, as well as huge double-doubles for both Cho Chi and Yi Jianlian.
Well, all through this tournament, China have been a well-oiled machine. They had one half where they faltered, in fact, just over a quarter against Korea, where they were blown out of the water by some hot shooting. But ever since that moment, they have been remarkable. Their defense, they move as one, they help and recover, they're willing to switch, and their big men are always covering the glass. And then on offense, this man leads the way, but they are unselfish to a fault. There's that block early on from Yi. And he has played with attitude in this tournament. We see him there powering to the basketball. Criticism in previous years is he's been too timid. Well, he's taken it on board, and I think Gong Lu Ming has said, you are the leader of this team. And he's beat his chest and said, boys, come with me.
(78-62). The lead for China with only 2.5 minutes to play. There you see the double-double for superstar Yi Jianlian. 14 rebounds, 11 points. Andre Blatch, 14 points, only 4 boards. Guo. Cho Chi. Able to escape 2. Into the lane, looking to beat Blatch with a move, knocked away out of bounds.
And that's the scrambling defense we should have seen from the Philippines probably 6 or 7 minutes ago. You end up with Cho Chi driving to the basket. That's exactly what you want. It's a turnover waiting to happen.
Ding. Guo around the screen of Yi, out to the perimeter. Cho Chi fakes the 3, puts up the 3. They're battling for the boards, and that one gone down. It might have blown the roof off this arena.
I'm sure it would have. And what about the hustle from Ding? His team is up 16 points, but he's still scrapping for every possession.
Castro inside, going all the way. That hasn't happened too often.
Certainly hasn't happened often enough for the Philippines. He's been beaten by this man, Guo. What a performance from him. All tournament we've said, who's the best point guard in Asian basketball? It's been Jason Castro in this tournament, but tonight it's been Guo Ailun.
Big player stepping up in the final, denied by Norwood that time. Here comes Castro. He's going to stop for 3. Off the mark, only 3 of 14 from the field, Castro.
And that may have been the last shot for the Philippines. There's only 90 seconds to go. It's going to be party time here in Changsha very shortly. And Guo, he wants to put the icing on the cake.
Guo across to Cho Chi. High catch into the corner, ding for 3. Can't hit. Just a minute to go before they're celebrating gold though. They were the favourites. They were expected to do it, but that's an awful lot of pressure on a lot of young players, and they have responded to the challenge superbly.
Well, we've seen a lot of Chinese teams with a lot more experience succumb to that sort of pressure. You know, it's happened a number of times in recent years, both in Asian competition and in world competition. And you think about the players who have moved on from this team in the last couple of years: Wang Zhizhi, Sun Yue, Zhu Fangyu, Wang Shipeng and Yi Li. I mean, the talent in those 5 players, you know, some people before this tournament would say that would be the starting, you know, better starting 5 than what this team had. But how about the young talent? They have played fearless basketball, and maybe that's the beauty of youth. They don't know any better. They've come out and they've started it with their defense. They've pressured the other teams to exhaustion, and then they've run it back down their throat the other way.
And of course, we talked about the end of an era for Iran when China beat them in the semi-final yesterday. The Philippines, the oldest team in the competition, and having got to back-to-back finals, it may be the end of an era for them in terms of being able to take that final step.
Well, the one good thing for the Philippines is that they have a lot of quality basketball players. That's an outstanding effort for them to get to the silver medal here in Changsha, because they lost some key players from last year's World Cup.
Blatch from the outside misses. He's 0 of 4 from downtown. Final minute. Just listen to the crowd in Changsha. Guo. To Yi. Blatch grabs the rebound, and then he's tangled up by Chao Shi-wei.
The crowd was ready to explode on that one, and that has been one of their trademarks of the tournament, the pick and pop between Guo and Yi. And for one of the few times in the tournament, the jump shot from Yi didn't drop.
Castro across to Blatch, he's going to shoot another 3. Able to get that one to go. Too little, too late from Andre Blatch. Just a few seconds between shot and game clock at the end of the final of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship. The host China, second by second, edging closer to celebrating the gold. Guo. Chao Shi-wei takes his time, puts it up for 3. And that will do it. It's the fairy tale finish for the hosts. 16-time Asian champions. And what a superb performance in the final, led by the 19 points of Guo Ailun, but double-doubles for the 19-year-old Chou Chi and the superstar Yi Jianlian. It's a party atmosphere in Changsha. Disappointment for the Philippines and for Andre Blatch, who just didn't bring his A-game tonight. But it would have been difficult with anybody's A-game against this bunch, a hugely talented set of young players, and it is China who take the gold.
They're the best defensive team in the competition. They're arguably the most disciplined offensive team. They're the biggest team, the longest team, and they're the best team in 2015 in Asia.
Blatch has headed to the back already. The rest of the Philippines players still out on the court. And look at the celebrations though for China and for Gonglu Ming to orchestrate this run to the gold medal. Playing on home soil brings different kind of pressures with it, different kind of expectations, and they have dealt with it all superbly. They have grown throughout the tournament, and they have gone all the way unbeaten, 9-0.
Well, in Wuhan 4 years ago, the last time China won this tournament, they faced a mighty challenge from Jordan in the final, but today they were too dominant for the Philippines. They win it 78-67. And look at some of the stats. The Philippines 6 of 24 from long range. They just had to hit their shots to put the pressure on China. China 37% from outside, which was a solid rate, and the rebounding 11 offensive boards apiece. But early in the game, that's where China dominated, and it allowed them to set up that lead, and Philippines were never good enough to bridge it back. And 7 steals for the Philippines. They weren't able to capitalize them in the open court. Castro just wasn't himself. He'd been the blur all tournament. He'd cut teams apart on the fast break. But China had the answers today. Blatch had 17, but many of them were when the game was all but out of reach. Romeo with 9. Abueva, he was impressive with his energy, but they needed more than that, the Philippines, because China were quite simply dominant. Guo Ailun with 19 points, Yi with 15 boards, and Chou Chi with 14. They were the twin towers inside, and the undersized Philippines had no answer.
Well, China were the favourites, China were the better team, but it was far from done and dusted from the start. The Philippines had their big opportunities, and you talk about the three-point shooting statistics, 6 of 24 for just 25% from the outside. Many of those were good looks.
Yeah, Andre Blatch, 1 of 5, and all his looks were pretty open from the three-point line. We said they needed a big performance from Castro and Blatch. They didn't get it. Things started pretty well. They looked good. Diacampo hitting. Castro was on fire. Nobody could stay in front of him. There was Abueva with his energy. But this man came onto the court. He changed it with his defense. He was controlled with his offense. And look at that move. What a spin move to a jump shot. And he took his game to a new level tonight. And there's Zhao Ji-wei. He was a tough competitor all night. And Ding, he was a bit of a surprise packet in the medal rounds for China with the way he competed. And there's Zhou Qi, the man with the world at his fingertips. And that time he threw one in with his fingertips. Romeo was energetic as always, but there wasn't enough of that from Castro to Blatch. Look at Guo. And here's Yi trying to stop Blatch. That was one of the few bright moments for the big man, the naturalized big man. And here was Jai on the fast break. It was a party in the end for China, and they won it by 11.
You talk about the shooting numbers of Andre Blatch. He's going to be one of the big stories, as he has been throughout this tournament. So much expectation on his shoulders. 17 points, 6 of 13 from the field. Looks pretty good, but 5 rebounds for him is way below par.
Yeah, the Philippines were undersized at the power forward position, so they needed Blatch at centre to have a dominant night on the boards. You know, he needed 15 or so, but it was Yi and Zhou Qi who got the job done on the boards there. And have a look at that one from Yi. It wasn't his biggest offensive night, but in the second half, he made a number of those big plays just at the right moment to keep the Philippines at bay.
China celebrating. They are the champions of Asia. They take the gold here at the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship. We're going to have the award ceremony coming up in just a few moments. We'll have the All-Star 5, the tournament MVP, and the presentation of the bronze medal to Iran, the silver to the Philippines, and the gold to China. China led by the 19 points of Guo Ailun, and then the big double-doubles of Zhou Qi, 16 points, 14 boards, and Yi Jianlian, 11 points and 15 rebounds for him. And those two doing the damage on the glass, with Andre Blatch only having 5. The Philippines shooting only 35% from the field, and Jason Castro just 3 of 14 for 8 points, and Guo certainly winning the battle of the point guards.
He did. He's such an exciting player. And we said 21 years of age. 6 players in this Chinese team, 22 years and under. 5 of those have come through their under 17 and under 19 program, where they had 4 7th place finishes at the World Championships in 5 tournaments. That was their best ever result. They'd never finished above that previously. So perhaps this is a golden generation just at the beginning for China, as we see Iran with their experienced veterans going out the other end. And it's a challenge that's been set out to every other nation in Asia to try and catch up with this young team. Of course, the dynamic changes in 2017 at the FIBA Asia Cup, which will be the new name for this tournament, because Australia and New Zealand come into the tournament and they're going to be real powerhouses as well. So there's no time for China to rest on their laurels, and the same for the other nations around Asia. They're going to have to lift their game with both the FIBA Asia Cup and the new qualifying system for the World Cup. It's exciting times. Asian basketball is on the rise.
Exciting times ahead for world and Asian basketball, and exciting times ahead for this Chinese team, no doubt about it. An average age of just 24. We've talked about the huge talents of, well, the huge talents of Zhou Qi at 19, and Wong, who's another one of those huge players they have inside with great length and height, only 21 years of age. The point guard Guo at 21, and Zhao Ji-wei at 20 as well. They just have the world at their fingertips.
They do, and the other one there, Jai Xiaochun, 204 centimetre small forward. He's got long arms. He's a strong build. He's only going to get to be more of an impressive physical specimen, but he can already hit the three, handle the ball. He can feed it inside to the big guys. I think he's a name we're going to hear a lot of in the future, even on the world stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, the awarding ceremony of 2015 FIBA Asia Championship will begin shortly.
We're almost ready for the medals to be presented and the awards to be handed out at the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship. It's been a wonderful tournament throughout. We've had some great stories, and the Philippines have been a huge part of that. The way they lost on the opening night to Palestine in their first ever game in the competition, that's one of the stories of the tournament. The way they grew and responded, the way different players stepped up off their bench to have an impact. And Jason Castro proving, until tonight perhaps, that he was the premier point guard in Asian basketball.
Well, he'll be so disappointed with tonight because he'd carried his team for large stretches of the tournament. He'd been unstoppable. He'd done it defensively. He'd been so disruptive. And on offense, he'd hit the three-pointer, the pull-up. He'd got all the way into the lane. He created shots for his teammates. And I think that's something he actually did pretty well tonight. With the big men inside, he wasn't able to score. He created a lot of open shots, but his teammates just didn't make them.
And Castro finishing with 8 points, 6 boards, but just 1 assist in the game.
Guo Hai-Lun coming out onto court ahead of his teammates to celebrate with the crowd. He's ushered back off and told to wait his turn. But when you're 21 years of age, you don't want to wait for anything. You want to get the party started.
Especially when you've led your team to the goal.
And we're about to find out the All-Star 5 and the MVP here.
So much debate around these positions. We won't have to wait too much longer. So many of the fans here have stuck around in Chongsha. Not too many have left at all.
And the first guard named, the man we've been talking about, Jason Castro at the shooting guard spot. Who else but Guo Hai-Lun? And wouldn't that be a damaging backcourt with Castro and Guo on the same team? And at the small forward position, Samad Nikhil Baharami, he was so good in the medal rounds. He carried Iran to victory today with 33 points. There's the hero of this tournament, Yi Jianlian. And what about this fella at just 19 years of age? He was unstoppable tonight. Joe Chi, I think he will be receiving some more of these awards over his career. That's an impressive quintet of stars here from Asian basketball.
And 3 from the hosts. It says it all, really. About to be presented with their awards. We've talked so much about Cho Chi. What an honour for him to put in such a big performance in the final, and then to be in the team of the tournament as well at the age of just 19.
You can't help but feel that that position was Andre Blatcher's coming into this final, but Joe Chi was so dominant today that he has more than earned that position.
He's been there and done it before. Cho Chi is doing it for the first time.
Picture time, please.
And he's averaged close to double figures, Cho Chi, and only been playing 16.5 minutes a game. A few in that lineup more happy than Jason Castro right now. He'll be feeling bitterly disappointed despite the individual award.
And no surprise, the MVP, Yi Jianlian, he was a dominant force. He did it at both ends, as we said, and he was the man who led this young team. He gave them the gusto to play the way they did, and he's more than earned this award.
11 points, 15 boards, a couple of block shots in the final for Yi Jianlian. After 13 points, 8 boards and 4 huge blocks in the semi-final against the defending champions Iran, and averaging over 17 points per game, around 8 rebounds a game. The MVP for the 2015 FIBA Asia Championships, Yi Jianlian.
And some redemption for him, because in 2013 in Manila, he was asked to carry the team. He came up short in some of the big games. Now this tournament, he has delivered just when it was needed, and he's delivered in spades.
That's the presentations of the individual awards finished. We now have the team awards, the bronze, silver and gold. Iran suffering defeat in the semi-final to China yesterday. Many thought whoever won that match would be the team that went on to take the gold, and they've been proved right in the end. Iran, though, having won 3 of the previous 4 FIBA Asia Championships, will have to settle for bronze. The Philippines back out on court. We're going to see Iran, we're going to see China.
Wait for the reception for China as they come out.
They'll be enjoying themselves tonight, that's for sure. Tough for the Philippines again, back-to-back defeats on home soil in Manila in 2013 and now here in Changsha in 2015. And Iran come out to accept bronze. For them, really, it was a case of only gold was good enough.
That's right. And the man we should mention for China is Coach Gong Luming. He's coached China at Olympic Games already. He played at Olympic Games. And after a string of foreign coaches, he's stepped back in. And now he's led China to the Rio Olympics next year. And he's instilled such confidence in this young team, and he always has such a calm demeanor on the sidelines.
The team medals about to be presented in turn to each of the top 3 nations at these championships. And all in all, I think it has been a hugely successful, hugely well-run, hugely entertaining 2 weeks of basketball here in Changsha.
Well, it's been unpredictable. So often we talked about the first day Palestine beat the Philippines. We see the performance of Japan getting to the top 4, Qatar with their overtime victories. But China have been the story. And the story is also Iran. They were the defending champs. They lost to the Philippines. They lost to China. But fittingly, they claimed the bronze medal in a thrilling win over Japan.
Iran, many people's pick to take the gold here in Changsha as well. Having won 3 of the previous 4 Asia Championships, the defending champions having beaten the Philippines in Manila 2 years ago, and beaten here in Changsha by both the Philippines and China. They just came up short against the big nations.
Well, it was a triumph of youth over experience last night in the semi-final. It was probably the most intense, the most hardly fought contest, but China just suffocated them. In the final term, Iran got back within 6, and we thought, is this where the experienced heads take over? The jump shots were starting to get a little tight for China, but they just locked down and they showed that they deserve to be gold medalists.
It was a huge part of the growing experience for China. We wondered if it would be a case of the wily old team getting the job done down the stretch. It wasn't to be.
And we see Nika Baharami shaking hands with the Chinese player just on the edge of your screen there. I guess the question is, 5 of these guys for Iran have played together in 5 FIBA Asia Championships. They now have a bronze to go with 3 gold. Will we see them again in 2017, or does the rebuild start again for Iran?
You know what we see? Haddadi instantly removing the bronze medal, doesn't want it hanging around his neck. They came in gunning for gold. They leave with bronze, and they'll have to bounce back strong now.
But the truth was, they couldn't beat the top 2 teams. They're in their rightful place in 3rd. And turn our attention to the Philippines. You know, the questions were about their fitness. They had an interrupted build-up coming in. The first day against Palestine, those questions only got louder. But they got better and better as the tournament went on. Players like Pingris and Romeo and Diacampo stepped up. Ontiveros became a sharpshooter for them. And they weren't the classical basketball team, but gee, they had some individual brilliance and they were always exciting to watch. And I guess it's a measure of China's quality that they were able to lock down that brilliance tonight.
No doubt one of the most fun teams to watch here at the Asia Championships. At times one of the most erratic. You never quite knew what you were going to get. And that was part of the fun in watching them. Just when we thought they were going to fall short, they came to the second round and beat the defending champions, put in a huge performance, couldn't quite repeat those heroics against the host China tonight. Andre Blatch has been one of the stories here. A shake of the head from him. Back-to-back disappointments in the final for the Philippines.
It must be hard for them to take, but upon reflection in a few days' time, I'm sure they'll look back and think 2 silver medals in a row, both times ahead of one of the powers, last time ahead of China, this time beating out Iran. And they are a growing basketball nation. They had a long time away from international basketball. And it's just now the Manila experience and the World Cup last year in Spain where they were so exciting to watch. It's galvanized their country behind their basketball team, and where the professional league there not so long ago ruled the roost. Now it's the Gilas, as they're known, who are the centerpiece of basketball on a basketball-mad island.
See Asi Taulava, the 42-year-old center, kissing the silver medal. May just be his last, but you never know with him. He could go on. And he hasn't played in any of the last 3 games. And for a player who averaged 10 points plus a game in this tournament back in 2007, he was an old player then, 8 years ago, at the age of 34. Here he is at 42. And making a big effort when he found his way onto the court for a few minutes. And maybe for those players in those twilight years, the silver means a lot more.
Yeah, when you get to the end of your career, you understand more and more how much these achievements mean. And we'll turn our attention to China now. They're all holding hands. They're ready to burst up onto the podium together. They started preparing for this tournament in March. They traveled through Europe playing tough games. They went back into camp here. It was an inexperienced team, it was an unproven team, but it's the best team in Asia. And gee, didn't they do it playing some impressive basketball.
The most successful nation in the competition's history. The most successful nation in continental basketball in Asia. They dominated from 1975 to 2005, 14 goals in the space of 16 tournaments. They've only won one of the last 4 before this one, gold in 2011. Had to settle for silver in 2009, but here they are, back on the top of the podium, champions again for a 16th time.
And there's a man we'll see, he'll be at the right of your screen, Yu Wei, the 35-year-old who came out of international retirement to play. He'd teamed up with Yi many times previously. He was brought back as the experienced head. He wasn't needed in the end because the youngsters Guo Ai-lun and Zhao Ji-wei were so good at the point guard position, but right now here is Yu Wei receiving his medal. Will it be the last time we see him on the international stage? Or will he still be around as an experienced head next year in Rio?
Who would want to miss that? This is a team that can certainly do some damage at the Olympics. And apart from the gold medal and the trophy, that is the huge prize. A place at Rio 2016. The Philippines and Iran will both go into the Olympic qualifying tournament and hope to get there via a different route. But China have booked their place at the Olympic Games next year. And they've done it in style, unbeaten, 9-0, and with real character and fighting spirit.
有请亚洲篮联会长萨乌德亲王为冠军获奖队 官方冠军奖杯。
All of the individual medals presented, and next up it's the trophy.
To present the champion cup.
A fifth place finish in 2013 in the Philippines for China. They have jumped all the way up to first. And a young team that can only get better and better. Once again here, they are the champions of Asia for a 16th time. And all the more sweet that it's happened on home soil.
They're the champions once again. They're off to their 8th straight Olympic Games. They are the powerhouse of Asia, and they've proved it time and time again. And this one particularly sweet for the man with the trophy at the moment, as the supporters enjoy their moment in the limelight as well. They're taking turns to kiss the trophy. They've worked for this since March. And then they hand the trophy back to Yi, their leader. And now we'll hear the national anthem of China for one more time in this tournament.
The national anthem sung loud and proud here in Changsha. From a 5th place finish in 2013 to a fairy tale finish in 2015. And they will certainly enjoy tonight.
They celebrate as the Philippines walk off the court. And you see the capital, you see the mascot there, the chili, which is the plant of the area here, Hunan province, which Changsha resides in. And there's a lot of spice about the way that China played their basketball here. And all that's left to do is take the photos. The sign says it all. China, the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship winners.
Take the photos and take the plaudits and enjoy the evening and the week going ahead. The trophy high aloft from Yi Jianlian.
Big smile on his face. He has such a stoic face so often, but the relief is obvious. And he's carried the weight of his country ever since Yao Ming retired after the 2008 Olympics. But finally in this tournament, he had some help. He had a whole team of helpers who played hard. They played fast, furious and physical, and allowed Yi just to be the cherry on top of the sundae. And he played that role to perfection.
And since the retirement of Yao Ming, the most exciting era in Chinese basketball. And with all of these young stars, they can certainly go far.
And Yi he's only 27 years of age. He went to the NBA, he made his debut in international basketball at 16 as Gong Lu Ming hoists the trophy high as well. He feels like he's been around for an age, Yi Jianlian, but at 27 he can play next year. In 2016 he can play in the 2019 World Cup, which will be here in China, and then possibly on to the Tokyo Olympics beyond that. And it will have been a storied career by then, and with this young talent on his team, who knows, maybe they'll give the podium a nudge in international basketball.
It's been a pleasure having your company here at the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship. China, the 16-time continental champions, We'll leave you with the pictures of their celebrations.
Time after time, I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes